Yes, I know I already did a thumbnail similar to that of Dada, but come on, people. It's a face. I'm going to do it. It's 1976. Alice Cooper Goes to Hell, exactly 1 year after Welcome to My Nightmare. And what goes up must come down. No, I don't hate this album, but I don't love this album. It's, to me, it's okay. It's there. Basically, what I boiled down to when I listened to this was, for every good track that's on it, it's followed by a mediocre or just okay track. I know there's people that really enjoy this album. Trust me, I get it. I've had two completely different opinions on this channel. One guy really dislikes it and the other guy really loves it. Hey, it's just all about preference, right? But for me, I think this could have been much more than just a like fairy tale story that's mixed with jazz and disco, which I get. Like ballads, I'm always chasing rainbows, that type of shit. I think it could have been like a Black Sabbath album, just a very hard rock or like a metal album. Alice Cooper Goes to Hell. The last thing I'm going to do if I'm in hell is wondering where the rainbows are so I can grab onto them and get out. He does, it's kind of interesting. Alice Cooper, you think he'll do a lot of material on Hell, given his character and shit. Like, to me, the next thing that comes to mind that's close to Hell is Prince of Darkness on Raise Your Fist and Yell. And then, of course, you get in kind of an entire album of Hell, which is Dragon Town. Though when I get to that, I'll explain what I think about it. Half's like literal hell, then half's like your own version of hell. But for the album cover itself, I really do enjoy this one. I really do like it. It kind of looks like a Frankenstein's monster, all green and whatnot. Of course, it's the album sleeve from Billion Dollar Babies that I talked about earlier on that album. And they just superimposed it and made him green. And see he's descending the staircase down to hell, which is just orange spray paint. But yeah, I'm just teasing. Lot of people on the credits too. The Hollywood Vampires, which is something new. Modern day with Joe Perry and Johnny Depp. But yeah, album cover, pretty cool. The album sleeve is there's a lot going on here, and my lighting seems to not care for this. But yeah, it opens up. It's about Steven, or like Alice is like somebody's singing, like telling a story to Steven, like, oh, bedtime story. They're not all for children. Very special place. Blah blah blah. Go to sleep. It's a dream that Alice has dreamed. You can go along with him. You can follow him down the staircase, or he doesn't want to go, but he has to. So it's really dark in that presence, but the journey itself isn't dark. And the backside has more to the story on the bottom, as well as a drawing of a naked guy getting bit by a crocodile. Talking about, like, if you go to sleep now, Steven, you can lay down, endless staircase, middle of the night, everything is quiet, trees and birds. And they're basically saying, like, but if you don't fall asleep and you put your ear on the floor, you can hear Alice Cooper struggling in hell and probably all the disco and whatnot. But yeah, so for Alice Cooper Goes to Hell, you open up with the title track, which is Go to Hell. Now, this is a pretty fun song. I'm going to say right off the bat that I heard somebody explain this song kind of perfectly when he called it Muppet Evil. When you have that in mindset, that's definitely what it sounds like. It's like an evil song some baddie would sing on, like, the Muppet Show. Because, they're singing about giving diabetics, candy canes and, like, being a brat and disobeying your parents. Like, oh, I stayed up past 8:30 type of thing. But Go to Hell, low banging. There's, like, glass smashing, which reminds me of the Stone Cold Steve Austin theme, if you guys know wrestling. And then there's these sort of ticking sounds. There's a lot of songs on this album to where there's, like, chime sounds to it. I know percussions are labeled literally on every track on this one, so maybe that has something to do with it. There's a whistle slide, which sounds like something that will play when you slip on a big banana peel. But that whistle slide is followed by the guitar play, and then he starts singing. And there's multiple people singing to this track. It's nasally when he gets to certain parts, like the grandma, like you even make your grandma sick. And then the voices they each become independent. They each get their own spotlight. So you got this really deep guy, and then you got Alice, and then you got this, snarly guy. So there's like three people to this track. I like the drums and the guitar work, and solo parts are good. They keep with the atmosphere, and then there's faint screams near the end. So Alice Cooper, like the track goes Go to Hell. It's pretty fun. Like I said, Muppet Evil. I can totally agree. All right. Gotta dance. Says you gotta dance. The next one, you gotta dance. Guilty pleasure. That's all I'm going to say right there. Guilty pleasure. Like, I get it that people absolutely hate this track. And look, I understand the whole, it's a joke. It's the worst thing to be in hell is to be doing disco and dancing 24/7. I don't like it because of that. I mean, it's funny, but just the track itself, I kind of dig. If that's blasphemy, then I'm guilty. Sorry, that was terrible. But the guitar, the piano, and drums, like telling you right away that this is a disco track. The voice is very, very groovy and soul-like, which is going to follow straight into the next track, which I don't really care about. And then I do like the parts when there's says dance, says you gotta dance. It's like multiple people like all singing and whatnot. And then it gets very high and sway. So hot, sweaty. We've been dancing, since eternity type of shit. And then you do hear the devil at parts too. And then the song just starts repeating the words dance, dance. There's sort of high vocals. But yeah, you gotta dance. Would it be a tragedy if I never hear this song again? No. But when I do, I don't change it or skip it through the needle or whatnot. I kind of dig this song. But in any case, the next one, I'm the coolest. The devil himself, I'm the coolest. And he's got this smoky jazz tone to himself. I think this track would have been better had the devil himself had a much more ferocious, evil tone to him. Because, I think like the disco part should have just been like the demons like having to suffer. Well, like the devil could have been this, real appetite for destruction, evil dude that sounds like all fierce, ferocious. I don't think they had to carry the disco part to this one as well. But for I'm the coolest, I like the bass drops, and then the low chimes are going like I've talked about. And then, I do like the chorus when everything gets loud. He's talking about how he's the coolest and, building statues of him and that he knows people. And, overall, he's just, besides the fact that he's, the pure face of evil, everybody talks about him. He's like, hey, that's a cool thing, And then after the chorus, it gets back to the soul feel. Alice does sing parts on this song. It's he's like in the background when the chorus comes in, so it's kind of like 90-10 in terms of like Devil Alice. You can barely hear him at times, but the drums are fun in the chorus. I do like that. And then just above all with this track, what I like the most is the chorus. I really don't care for the jazz element that they gave, or the jazz element that they gave to Satan himself. Like I said, I think it could have been a lot heavier. But yeah. Alright, the next track. Didn't we meet in the night of my sleep somewhere? This is a great song. Again, it's just, to me, like I said, there were some pretty great tracks on this album. But I just think they could have gone in a completely different direction instead of taking this, fairy tale Disney sort of route. But anyways, so didn't we meet the track? It's soft piano to kick the intro. The voice is very soft, and of course it gets raspy at times because when it gets towards the chorus parts and whatnot, it definitely elevates. And then the drums and percussions lead up to certain lines, which I really enjoy. And then like I said, he raises his voice at certain lines that I really do like, so he just breaks out of that ballad type atmosphere. Raspy melodic ballad is what I wrote down, if that makes any sense. I do like the guitar solo with the percussion. That was pretty fun. Everything raises up to a certain point, and then it stops, and then it comes back to the little piano piece, so that was pretty cool. And then the voice fluctuates from soft to his, signature nasally rasping his voice. And towards the end, it sounds like his voice is kind of like breaking, like not like literally, but in an emotional sort of sad way. But yeah, I do really enjoy this song, Didn't We Meet the Night, or Didn't We Meet, sorry. I feel like I have to finish that line off, but yeah, it's a good track. Alright, the next one, I Never Cry. Alright, because if you know you're good at something, aka a ballad, you gotta drive that shit to the ground, right? So, I Never Cry. Yes, it's a great ballad, don't get me wrong. It's about, alcoholism, and like his love is pure. That's what I get at least out of the tracks. Like you break my heart of stone, and it's never been used or abused. It's always been like a virgin for you, that type of thing. But I Never Cry. It's a very soft ballad. The instruments and voice are very nice. There's a lot of emotion in his delivery. Like I said, I really do like this song. These past two tracks are pretty great. It does emphasize on certain words, which are pretty cool. Like I said, his voice sounds sad and broken. And then great carrying of some of the lines, which I really like. And he does break up at times. That's true. When towards like the end, what I thought was kind of a cool thing was like, well, I never cry. So the parts, well, he sounds like he's breaking up. And then when he gets to Never Cry, it's like he had no emotion at all. So that's just kind of a cool little, competition there, or, competitiveness, to where it sounds like he's breaking up, and fuck it. You know what I mean. But above all, I Never Cry. Yeah, it's a great ballad, don't get me wrong. Again, it's just like the whole point is like, for Alice Cooper to go to hell, like, if I didn't know this track beforehand, then I'd grab this, like, oh man, it's going to be so hard and rocking and heavy and, like, balls to the walls. And it's really not. And, that's kind of unfortunate. You're going to have to wait a couple of decades for him to do Dragon Town, if you guys even like that album. But I do. But in any case, that was the end of side A with I Never Cry. And again, that song was huge for him. It's another great ballad. Again, you're expanding the audience. You realize people that might not have cared for his music or never listened and realize he can do something like this. And they hop on board the Alice Cooper train, and he'll do this for the rest of the 70s. Alright, so for side B, Give the Kid a Break. This really has like a quartet type of feel to it, which I noticed, with vocals and instruments. And it's like a song off of Broadway. It's got that type of theatrical feel to it. And then I do like the carrying of, or like the way he emphasizes the word don't. So he's like, don't know when I'm down here. So it's just got that sort of unique sounding to it, which I like. The chorus comes in with the title, and then the devil comes back in, and he's kind of just giving them all shit. He's like, why the hell should I free this guy? He belongs here. You guys don't know who you're talking to. That type of thing. So it's kind of like, little giggles and shits, but the guitars, they do start to groove out at parts, which I really liked in the middle. And there is a line that says, right in the frying pan. Again, we're going back to Dragon Town, right? Dragon Town takes that line for the wicked young man. Cooking slowly in a frying pan. That's a great album. But in any case, we're on Alice Cooper Goes to Hell, right? And Alice, towards the end, he's trying to bargain with the devil, just doing whatever I can to try and get out. It must be something, right? Why am I down here? So Give the Kid a Break. It's a fun song for what it is. It's definitely not my favorite off of this one, but it's also not horrible, so yeah. Alright, the next one, Guilty. Now that's a fun song, right? So it's fun guitar play. It's definitely got the 70s elements at times on this track. And the voice is back to the raspiness. And he's giving multiple examples of being guilty, like, makeup, playing music too loud, showing off when the cops come, and then messing with people, all that type of stuff. If that makes me guilty, then I'm guilty, right? So that's always fun, and it is fun when he yells out the lines "guilty." That's cool. It's got a good rhythm to it all. I really do enjoy that. The drums and cymbals really bang out parts, which I noticed, which also adds to the excitement of this track. And it does tie in nicely with the previous song. Again, it's pretty much a juxtaposition in terms of vocal approach and instrumental approach, but just to for him to constantly be asking in the last track, what did I do? Well, what am I guilty of? And then the next track, I'm like, oh, was it this? Was it this? What was it this? All right, then fuck it. Then I'm guilty, right? That type of thing. So yeah, above all, Guilty is probably like the highlight of this track, of this album, I would say. But then the next track, Wake Me Gently. Okay. It's not that it's a bad song. It's just, again, like some of these tracks, it's like the last thing that I would do if I was in hell was to break out in this soft melodic ballad, like, oh, just wake me gently so I can get out of here. I'll be screaming bloody murder. Wake me the F up. I need to get out of here. That's really what this track should have been, instead of this little, oh, hush, hush, lullaby, just rub my shoulder and I'll wake up and I'm out of disco hell. But Wake Me Gently as a track, besides the chorus parts, definitely the song does carry this creepy ballad-like, which is kind of cool. The chorus that goes with the ballad. It gets very light at times, of course. And then there's background vocals adding to it. The chime noises are there, as I've mentioned before. And then the instruments are, above all, pretty conservative to fit with the atmosphere of this track. There's a nice laid-back solo to it, and just begging to come home. And by begging, I mean pretty please type of thing. And then I just wrote down there towards the end, it could have been a hard rocker as opposed to the ballad-like thing. Again, for what it is, it's not bad. It's fine. It just could have been a whole lot more, and that's pretty much my feelings with this album entirely. Alright, Wish You Were Here is the next track, and no, not the Pink Floyd album. But Wish You Were Here, this is a fun song, alright? It's opening with a gong and the bongos. So, like, the bongos reminded me of my last album review with the Oingo Boingo one. I'm like, oh, hey, look at that. But it's got this funk-like instrumental play to it, and the voice is, like, determined and nasally, and it's fast-paced parts, and then it's fun when you sing in the title track, having the time of my life, dear, wish you were here, wish you were here. I really do enjoy that. There are some fun lines and puns, too. I really do enjoy them, and, like, some lines are pretty great. He's talking about, like, oh, I would call you, but the phone operators, they're a bunch of snobs, they're not going to reach you in time, but I don't want to pay for it anyways, you got stuff like that, little fun stuff to it. I do like the emphasis on certain parts of lines and whatnot, to where he really hammers certain words and gives them an emphasis, emphasizes it and whatnot. The drums and guitars get heavy towards the end, which I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed the end solo that they gave to it, and then continue to play with the chorus, because with the end, it's the chorus is playing. And then in like the middle of that is when the instruments play, and then they finish it off playing the track, but just instrumental. So I thought that was pretty cool. Alright, the next one, I'm Always Chasing Rainbows. Alright, the next one, Going Home. So no, I'm kidding. Alright, so I'm Always Chasing Rainbows. Thank God it's only like 2.5 minutes. It's not atrocious as people make it out to be, but again, what if I said this could have been a lot better, could have been a much more different approach, hard rock, etc., etc., instead of grabbing on a rainbow, go to the other side, and wake up and have your bowl of Lucky Charms type of thing. But I'm Always Chasing Rainbows. Alice is in a very low, sad vocal approach, and playing the piano. And then like the hymn, Alice in the chorus comes in to sing the title track, and it's like this 1940s, 1950s sort of singing in like a movie. You know, like how movies in the 40s and 50s, like every 10 minutes they felt the need to have some big old Broadway theatrical singing to which everybody has a 10-year experience vocals. It's got that type of feel to it. And he does change his voice a couple of times on this track, so he gets this like sophisticated, tone to him and whatnot. But I'm always chasing rainbows. I get it. It's in the story. I get it. But again, it could have been a lot more. All right, the next one, to finish it off at least, Going Home. So there is organ playing. At least I believe I heard it. There's organ playing the intro, then the bass follows, which is kind of cool. The voice is low, but then it builds up to the title, and then he sings about his house. He's like, oh, it's a mess. There's laundry. I'm going to have to clean the dishes. That type of thing. I'm like, okay. The Home Sweet Home, the parts in the song is like sung melodically, but the chorus is upbeat, packing my bags, bringing the whole crew with me. We're coming back type of thing. The backing vocals are on the title when they sing the title tracks, and then they got the little that type of thing. So that's fine. I'm repeating myself here on my notes because I said not bad, could have been better. But to finish it off with this track, it's the sort of theatrical instrumental play. So yeah, that's it. I mean, Alice Cooper Goes to Hell. Like I said, could have been a whole lot more. He goes back, of course, a couple decades later after Brutal Planet, so he carries that atmosphere with him. And then I think with that, you need that sort of hard rock, borderline industrial metal to make like the perfect, going to hell concept. But for Alice Cooper Goes to Hell, it's not great. It's not horrible. To me, it's just there. But in any case, guys, if you like this album, let me know. If you don't like this album, let me know. But next week, we'll be going on to the following year after this one, Lace and Whiskey, and I really do enjoy that album. So, thank you so much for watching. Take care.